This episode of the Nerf Herder Council is brought to you by Audible. Visit audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download.
I'm Kevin Thompson. I'm Chubray from Return of the Jedi. You're listening to the Nerf Herder Council.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking Nerf herder.
You can't use that word. Only we can use that word.
Let the final battle begin.
You're tuned in to the Nerf Herder Council, your source for Star Wars opinion, conversation, and debate. Featuring your hosts, JT. Stormtrooper armor deflects everything except Orback hooves. They're like a horse version of Thomas the Tank Engine. AJ.
Yeah, Rebels is a lot like our show, where we think we have a good idea and then it just fails in execution.
Steve.
The vacuum of space does crazy things to your beehole out there, man.
On this episode of the Nerf Herder Council, we give our hopes for The Rise of Skywalker, a brief review of Jedi Fallen Order and the Anthony Daniels biography, and I rant about stupid McDonald's.
This is the Nerf Herder Council.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I am your host, JT. With me are AJ and Steve. As always, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. And don't forget, you can customize your own personal Nerf Herder Council swag at shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. So, I figure we'll talk a little bit of Rise of Skywalker tonight because, hey, by the time this comes out, we'll be less than 2 weeks away from the movie coming out. It's crazy how fast this time has gone, even though it felt like it went so slow.
Dude, the lead into like October, I feel like coming up to October, it felt like it would never arrive. And then as soon as we started getting into like Fallen Order time and Mandalorian and Disney Plus and all that other stuff, it was just like, it was a blur.
Yeah. And I'm glad we did have other stuff to tide us over. I mean, The Mandalorian's been great. I don't know how much I love the fourth episode. It just seemed kind of superfluous to me, but I'll wait for the other 4 episodes to come out to see. Fallen Order is amazing.
Episode 4 was like the most filler episode I think that we've had so far.
Yeah, I'm wondering how it'll tie in because I mean, if Gina Carano's character, Cara Dune, if she's in it in for only the one episode, I'll be like, okay, what the heck was that? But I mean, it was still awesome though.
Yeah,
I mean, it was still
had
great.
A bad episode yet. So.
Yeah, so I really liked it.
Well, we do know that she's currently filming season 2, so the character returns at least next season, if not again this season.
He ends up on that planet again. he's just flying around. So he's like, you know what I got a taste for? Blue shrimp. I can help with that. So yeah,
like
I like how he's basically turned into a toddler parent at this point.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean,
like, unscrewing the knob, like Jesus Christ, take it and leave me alone.
Right.
You can almost see the look on his face behind the helmet as he's unscrewing that knob.
I know.
Unpopular opinion here, but I think 4 was more necessary than 2.
Really? Yeah, but 2 introduces the fact that Baby Yoda has force powers.
Yes, that's the one notable thing. I feel like the character introduction in this and the fact that there are people finding them on remote locations, it kind of drives the story more forward than finding out that Baby Yoda has force powers.
Jawas have red eyes now.
Well, they're off-world Jawas.
Yeah.
We already established why they have red eyes, so.
True. Stoners.
It's a good galactic spice trade going on.
But yeah, so we got the Mandalorian going on. Man, this stupid McDonald's. McDonald's always gives me phlegm, probably because it's absolutely horrifically atrocious for you.
Yes.
But
that petroleum jelly cheese that you got going on there.
Man, I tell you what, And now they apparently have 2 stops where you pay at the first one, then it says pick up 1, and the next one says pick up 2. I was like, oh, okay. So I went to pick up 1. I'm like, do I stop here? She's like, yes, you do. And I was like, okay. Now do I go forward? She goes, yeah. She kind of wasn't clear. So I was like, okay. I pulled forward and she didn't say no. And then, you know how like inside the window, you always see like a pop machine and all this other stuff. There was nothing there. It looked like the white room in the Rise of Skywalker things. There was like nothing there. And I'm like, okay. And I'm looking in the rearview mirror and like 15 cars get their food and pass around me. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like nobody's coming over here. So I got pissed off and I went and parked and I walked inside. I'm like, I don't know if I was supposed to stop there or not, but I didn't get my food. I don't know what the heck is going on. And I mean, it's not exactly the most well-run McDonald's anyway, because when I pulled up to pay, the window opens up and this guy inside, he's like standing right by the window, apparently on break, get ready for an edit. He's like, well, tell that fucking guy to finish his fucking order first, idiot. I'm like, wow, what excellent customer service you have.
Is this where I donate to Ronald McDonald House?
That's about it, man. It was a crap ass McDonald's, I'm telling you. So I had a bad experience at the drive-thru. I have phlegm, but let's move on.
And you apparently don't know that they use 2 windows at the drive-thru, which is something that's been in place for years.
Well, now remember, they have 3. There's the pay window, then there's one that says pick up 1, and then there's a third one that says pick up 2.
Okay, well, that is different then.
But then they still have like the pull-off spots, like pull forward or whatever, in case you order French fries and they don't have any.
Yeah.
Which if you're going to the McDonald's on 150th, they never have damn French fries.
You know a lot about drive-thrus for McDonald's, man.
Because it's like the only thing on my way home from work if I want to eat real quick. So I'll stop in and get some fries. And you pull in, and it's like 6 o'clock, dinner rush. Pull forward. It's dinner rush. Make a crap load of French fries, you dumb minimum wage making assholes. It pisses me off. It really pisses me off. That one particular McDonald's just sucks every time I'm waiting for something. Except in the morning. I've been there a couple times and they have this new thing like, if you don't get your breakfast in 60 seconds, it's on us. So of course, then they're fast as crap. When I got all the time in the world.
Oh yeah.
But at night, when I want to get somewhere, we don't got no French fries. Jerk offs.
We didn't know anyone would want them.
Yeah. I didn't think it'd be as busy. It's fucking Thursday night during the dinner rush.
Don't come between a fat man and his fried food, damn it.
It's like, see, and this is what's sad is I almost never eat there. And yet I have all these bad experiences. So it sounds like I do. I just have like...
Yeah, you've got more stories than I do.
I'm telling you.
Actually, I never go to McDonald's. That's probably why.
Yeah, it's last resort. But all right. So anyways, back on topic. So you get The Mandalorian. Fallen Order is awesome. I'm still not very far into it. I just haven't had a lot of time to play because work has been hellish. But what I have played has been really, really fun. Mm-hmm. I'm still terrible at video games, but it's great. I'm loving it. So
yeah.
All my friends are playing. They're way further than I am.
You're going to lose your mind in a couple parts that I've gotten to so far.
Like get mad?
No, like cool surprises.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, no.
Okay. I like that.
I know nothing yet. I'm hoping I get it for Christmas or something.
I was going to ask if you. I was going to ask if you had it yet.
As long as we're going on sidebars without getting into Rise of Skywalker yet, I want to talk one little bit about Fallen Order. That's kind of like a sidebar of that.
Okay.
I want to compliment the YouTube community in particular for like being respectful of the YouTube Star Wars community in particular, for being respectful of the fact that it's a video game, and unless you're paid to play them, chances are you're not through it all yet. So the spoilers have been kept to a very like minimum.
I only got one.
There's very few videos that I've seen where people are just like, well, we're going to talk about everything. Like even Star Wars Explained did their canon update, their monthly canon update thing.
Yeah.
And excuse me.
You got phlegm too.
Even in the November canon update, he said, "Yeah, Fallen Order came out."
The air, man.
That's what I was gonna say.
Fallen Order came out. And he's like, but because a lot of people probably aren't through it yet, I'm not really going to go into it. I'm just going to say that it's one of my favorite Star Wars stories. Okay, moving on. Like, It's his job to report on what the story is, and he even strayed away from it, knowing that people didn't have time yet to play through the whole thing. So
That's cool.
yeah, so it's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, the only spoiler I saw was because it was like it was like the thumbnail of the video, and of course, right in the first like 3 words of the title was the spoiler, and I was like, man, what kind of dick are you? So
Yeah, the only problems I've had is Hello Greedo is doing a live stream of it today, and the thumbnail's like the current state of the live stream. So I saw him like playing a planet I haven't visited yet.
okay.
No real spoilers there. I knew the planet was in the game, but still, I'm like, oh, click away from that. Don't want to see it.
Yeah. Speaking of things that were live,
Thankfully, I've actually seen very, 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 very little of it. So like I said, I'm holding out, for Christmas, and then I'm just going to play through the whole damn thing ASAP and try to get the whole story in as quick as I can.
I mean, I like that it's a single player campaign instead of online, and it's a long game. Like I put like 5 or 6 gameplay hours in, probably 4 on a single planet, and I only had like 46% of the planet explored.
That's good.
Now, mind you, I'm terrible, so it probably could be done in like 2 hours, but still.
Maybe.
I feel like
depends how much of a completionist you are. Like I feel like maybe it's just that I really liked the games, but the Force Unleashed games I felt were not very long at all.
well, they weren't.
It's either that or I just would just rush through the damn things, but I really felt like I was not.
No, I think the first one was like 11 hours, and the second one was only like 8.
Yeah, they didn't feel long at all.
No,
Well, there's a sweet spot too, because I'm playing other games that are similar to it, and it's they just drag on too long. Like one of them is a game called Hollow Knight. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
I've heard of it, but I haven't played it.
it's in the Metroidvania genre, which means like there's backtracking after you get upgrades and stuff. Similar to Fallen Order, where you like discover new abilities and uncover new paths and whatever. And I'm like 17 hours into this thing, and apparently I'm only like 40% through. To actually like just directly go through it all and get it all is still like a 20 to 25 hour experience, and it's a slog.
Yeah.
Like Fallen Order feels like it's moving along and it's interesting enough. It's never just like a huge stupid grind to get from one thing to the next.
I have watched some YouTube videos of Vader Immortal, though, just because I know I'm never going to play it since it's a VR game. So I have gotten a lot of that story in just because I'm like, dude, I might as well watch it. I'm not going to know it any other damn way. So I've watched stuff on that, but I've stayed away from Fallen Order as much as I can on purpose. So.
Dude, it's awesome. I am really, really loving it.
I'm really looking. I'm either going to get it for Christmas or I'm going to run out and get it the day after or something like that. So I'm going to have it right around Christmas, regardless.
It's totally worthwhile. I know it's like, I mean, all the videos that I've seen, it's the same like stock footage that they released to people that they allowed to play like 3 or 4 hours. Mm-hmm. But it was, a lot of talk about, how the gameplay works and different things like that. And I'm kind of glad that I'm burping. Good Lord, I am a mess tonight. But I'm glad that I watched them because it kind of gave me an insight as to how I should handle certain things in the game. So I was aware of how to attack in certain ways.
Yeah, no button mashing.
Yeah.
Which is very weird to get used to after Force Unleashed.
Right.
I've just realized that I'm just terrible at video games anymore. I went years without playing very much, and it just totally bit me in the ass. Like at the part where they first show you that you run on the walls, I was in that like bog room or whatever, where you have that Force flashback where you're training with your master and you have to learn how to run on the walls. So we get done with that. I beat it. I was like, okay, cool. And I'm standing there, and then there's like a chasm, little part, like got to jump across the room to a rock or something, and I couldn't get across. I'm like, well, now how the hell am I going to do that? Of course, never mind. There's a ridged wall right next to me that I just learned how to run on the wall, but my dumb ass is going, well, how the hell am I going to traverse this? Like, it took me like 5 minutes, and finally I was like, hey, schmuck, run on the wall.
You're pulling your phone out, Googling like a walkthrough for the game.
Seriously.
How do I get through the tutorial mode?
That really is me, man. I am so bad.
Looking up cheat codes to make it through the tutorial.
Right. Can this game just please be all cutscenes?
Right.
Like, just have like a 5-minute cutscene, then have me cut up one stormtrooper, then go back to like a 5-minute cutscene.
Yeah.
Like, but no, I have to try.
That the first level, the actual tutorial level, I need to spend more time in that because there's so much to see visually that like I chewed through it because I was just like learning the mechanics and like following the, tutorial on Rails. But I really want to go back. There's no way, unfortunately, to revisit that after you're done with it because I would love to go back and just like check all that out. I mean, you start out, it's not a spoiler, Steve, so I'm just going to tell you.
That's cool.
You start out in a shipyard where you're chopping up old Venator class Star Destroyers. And there's just so much to see.
Yeah.
And like, I forget it, and I'm already past it. I'm gonna have to start a new campaign just to get back to it.
I tell you, the one thing, man, I'm afraid of heights. And man, some of these maps, like, the only other game that ever did that to me was the Star Wars Bounty Hunter that has Jango Fett on the cover for PS2.
You're like rooftop to rooftop.
Oh my God, it gave me vertigo. I'm like, but some of these damn levels, I have to look down.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh well, I guess I'm gonna get that feeling again. So, but it is a lot of fun. You definitely got to get it, Steve. It's cool. I don't think I've gotten very far enough to have anything be like spoiler-y, but I just, I love running around playing it for about 45 minutes, an hour at a time. It's like a good fun play. And then, when I do have time, so it's really cool. So,
it's jacking me up to go to Galaxy's Edge even more.
Yeah. Speaking of Galaxy's Edge, did you see what they did tonight? They had a live stream at 6:55 Eastern. The opening of Rise of the Resistance.
Mind you, listeners, this is Wednesday we're talking about, not Sunday when the show comes out.
Yeah, exactly. So tonight's Wednesday, so 6:55 p.m.
Yeah,
Wednesday.
today was the media event for that, and last night they announced the actual name and opening date of the hotel.
I thought they already announced the name. It was like Star Wars Galactic Cruiser or something?
Yeah,
Galactic Star Cruiser, yeah.
Yeah, everything was like officially...
So generic.
Yeah, everything was like officially dropped yesterday from the Disney Parks blog on.
I'm really surprised that that's opening in 2021. I thought it would be later than that, considering all the stuff they have to.
2021 is going to be the 50th anniversary for Magic Kingdom down there, so they're trying to plan every damn thing to go around that. So you're getting the Star Wars, you're getting the hotel, you're getting the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, you're getting the Tron coaster. Like, they are making sure that all this stuff is 2021. They're really going to break the bank down there in 2 years.
Damn it. Now I got to convince my wife to do this because we said we're going to blow a ton of money on a vacation, do everything at Galaxy's Edge at once. But since Celebration is in 2020, then if that's in 2021, the next Celebration that I really want to go to is in 2022.
Which will be unavoidable because there's a movie coming out that year.
Yeah, I have to go to that. Oh, man, I really got to get everything paid off so the wife don't get pissed.
Back to work with you.
I know. So, speaking of things that are really cool, and then we can get to our Rise of Skywalker stuff, but I finished the Anthony Daniels book.
Oh, yeah. You were barely started at that the last time we got together, so tell us about that.
It's really good. It's a little dry. I mean, he narrates it, and of course, he tells a ton of stories. There's basically it's like the whole book is basically, like I said, there's like after the first little bit of, I want to be an actor. Okay, no, I'm an actor. It's 100% Star Wars all the way through. And there's even stuff about the Rise of Skywalker, which is really funny because it's all in generalities.
Oh, yeah, because obviously
we were in this big, really familiar set that I had known for years, things like that. But there's a lot of talk about it. I would say that there's some juicy, quote unquote, air quotes, juicy stuff in there, but because he refuses to come out and say anything bad, like the whole Kenny Baker thing. He touches on it for maybe 30 to 60 seconds. Mm-hmm. And it basically just says, I don't want to, be, let's just say that, our on-screen camaraderie did not translate to off kind of thing. So it says nothing. I'm like, okay. And he didn't like how the prequels were done. Basically said they were kind of militant about the production and not very nice. But he doesn't really go into detail about it. And it's, it's basically, there's almost nothing negative. So... It seems like it's a very Lucasfilm supported book as opposed to him just actually like saying what he really thinks. So, but I mean, it's still really, really interesting.
So it's standard fare for behind the scenes stuff. Like you never go on a DVD and get the behind the scenes stuff where the cast and crew are talking about it no one's ever like, man, that director was such a piece of crap.
Yeah, exactly.
He did it so bad. And I was like, fantastic crew, fantastic people. I had the best time. It's maybe the best story I've ever read on a script. Like the story just leapt off the page.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. I mean, he does say some stuff that he wasn't happy about, but it's not, like I say, it's not salacious. You know, like you read, like I read and listen to a ton of musician biographies, and it's great to listen to these guys just crap all over people you had no idea. You know, like read Stephen Piercy of Rat. Like I read his book and he just talks about what a complete piece of garbage the drummer Bobby Blotzer was and how he would wait for him to be really hungover at a show. And his thing when he did his drum solo was they would lower a 6-pack of Budweiser down from the rafters and he would like crack beers and do his drum solo and stuff. So he would specifically wait for the shows when Blotzer was really a mess and he'd go, no drum solo, no drum solo. And purposely Militia would go, on drums, Bobby Blotzer, just to make him pissed off. You know, like that kind of stuff is what you want to hear about behind the scenes, not, you know, like you said, the standard fare, but it's still really interesting. And, the one thing, you know, tying into our Rise of Skywalker stuff is that he is another one that said he loved the ending of the movie. He loved the way they treated the legacy stuff and tied everything together. And he, you know, his satisfying conclusion to everything is, you know, what he said. And we've heard that from a lot of people. And I think that is as perfect a place to start because I was kind of thinking, you know, what do I want from this movie, from The Rise of Skywalker? I mean, it's,
what would be a satisfying conclusion?
I'm finally, it's so close, and I watched, I think, all of the TV spots, so I think I've gotten all the little bits and pieces and stuff like that. And, you know, I for me, a satisfying ending would just be something to where I don't leave the theater going, well, that was kind of meh. I want it to be a believable ending. I don't want anything like goofy, you know, like all of a sudden, like the Emperor comes back and then Rey just cuts him down in 30 seconds. Yeah. You know, like what the hell is that? You know, so,
yeah, I was thinking about it earlier and I've probably said this for every movie that's come out of the Disney franchise. I don't have any expectations for it. Like, I just want to sit down and watch the damn thing. I feel like there's always this build up to it and stuff that it's like I can't even build a conclusion in my mind. I just go, just give me a damn thing.
It hit me today. It officially hit me today. I watched the newest couple TV spots and all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, why can't I walk into the theater now? I
will say now, Star Wars is probably filtering their own crap right now, but the stuff that has been coming out online from the I don't know if you would call it pre-screenings or not, but it's the people that were involved in it and things like that.
Didn't they just get to see it like today or yesterday?
Yeah, like last night or something. Everything that's been coming out is like, oh my God, this thing is so good. And
is it like the press?
JJ did so good with this and blah blah. And it's like, no, again, I figure Star Wars is not going to share people going, hey, this is a piece of dog crap.
Is this the Twitter reactions from like the press that saw it?
Yeah, it's like the press and whatever else. I'm not sure who actually had the pre-screening of it, but yes, last night or
like John Boyega was tweeting about finally getting to see it, for example.
Yeah.
So I think it's the first time the cast and crew have been able to see the finished product.
Well, they said they just finished it. So that's why all these people that were like we talked about the whole three fan screenings.
Yeah,
like I mean,
well, they had to go back and recut based on that feedback.
Yeah, of course. It's such a stupid thing. Who believes that garbage, man? I don't get it. But
yeah, like I said, I know Star Wars is just going to give us the fluff through their social media, but from what you look at today, it seems like it's a damn good movie. So hopefully, JJ just did it right, and it's. Honestly, if it's like you said, if it's logical, if the end is somewhat logical to the rest of the story, I feel like I'll just be fine with it.
Yeah.
As long as nothing ridiculous happens, I'll be cool with it.
I read an interview on Uprocks with the writer.
I read part of that today. Chris Terrio.
Yeah, that's the guy. And he was talking about how this is where the kind of fluff comes in, because obviously they can't be too detailed, and he was totally willing to like come back and do another interview once the embargo is lifted after people have seen the movie. But he was talking about how his first he's got the same first Star Wars experience as me, Return of the Jedi in the theater. So they were going back and talking about like how Empire Strikes Back leaves an obvious cliffhanger to lead into the next movie, whereas Last Jedi doesn't really do that. And he was very diplomatic in how he danced around that, because he's like,
I saw that answer.
Yeah, he's like, well, you know, like there were a lot of things in Last Jedi that, you know, people think they could have, you know, wrapped it up with that, with, you know, the next generation having force powers and, you know, being the spark of hope and whatnot. But he's like, but that movie was so well crafted. I immediately wanted to know what happens next.
Yeah.
So basically what she said is, I acknowledge that everything could have ended on that movie, but I didn't want it to. So I'm going to write some stuff. Like, that's not an answer. That doesn't say anything about how 8 leads into 9 whatsoever.
It's a politician answer.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
But he at least acknowledged that. He's like, look, man, you know I can't talk about this stuff, so I'm going to give you whatever I can.
Yeah.
I still remember 2 years ago leaving after episode 8, and the first thing I said was, seems like it's a perfectly good middle movie.
Right.
Like, there was it wasn't great at the beginning, it wasn't great at the end, like, but
the ending was awesome.
But it's just like, you could tell it had the feel of a movie that should be in the center of 2 other movies. So it's like, you did your job.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it was okay.
See, it's weird because I was thinking about it, and it's like I left. You know, I think like I said, it just hit me today. Like now I'm just all fired up. Like I'm I'm still super nervous about it because of my reaction to The Force Awakens. But now I'm just like, I'm so mad that I'm so excited because I don't want to be let down. And I think like when I left the theater for episode 7, I was like, okay, it was pretty cool. When I left the theater for episode 8, I was like, wow, I got to see that again. Mm-hmm. Boy, is that deep. But the feeling that I haven't had from either of them is the feeling I had from every one of the first 6 movies, where I just get out of my seat and I go, oh my God, that was awesome. You know, that instantaneous like Star Wars reaction. And so I think that's what I want. Like, I don't, you know, I'm hoping there's no stupid moments where, you know, you're going to get online and people are just going to be acting like total jerks. You know, it would just be nice if it was you know, satisfies everybody, I think. And, you know, that would be nice. But mostly for me, I just want to have that old school feeling of the whole thing is just this big ball of, you know, F yeah. You know,
it's like I said, I'm kind of just like I said, when I said logical, I'm just kind of like hoping for a sigh of relief of like, when the movie's over, that you could kind of just replay all 3 movies really quick in your head and go, okay, the trilogy works.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I will be just fine with that, because, you know, it's not going to please everybody regardless of how great the movie is or anything. So it's like, just make it, wrap all 3 together, make it all make sense. That way, when it's all on Blu-ray, we can just sit down and watch it and be cool with it.
Yeah.
it's all I want out of the damn thing.
I agree. I want them to bring back the Emperor in a believable way. You know, I just don't want it to be something totally stupid where it comes back and you're like, man, jeez. Like,
I am afraid that people are going to try to draw a comparison to The Mandalorian, though, just because of how good the series has been, that, you know, everybody's going to have these real high expectations of the movie. And if it doesn't meet that, it's automatically going to be crap, like everybody thinks episode 8 was.
Yeah. I don't think that'll be the case. I mean, because
I feel like that was part of it with 8. It was because people liked Rogue One so much that you came in with these crazy expectations that episode 8 was supposed to be friggin' Citizen Kane or something like that. And when it wasn't, it was just like, oh, this is the worst damn thing in the history. You've ruined Star Wars for everybody. And I'm a moron and all that other crap. And so, like, I'm afraid that people are going to try to put too high of an expectation on the movie.
Yeah, I don't see. Like I said, the Mandalorian thing to me, like, I hope people understand, like, if they are looking at it as a comparison, it's like the Rise of Skywalker and these Skywalker saga movies have to fit within a certain box.
True.
The like stuff like Solo and Rogue One and the Mandalorian and whatnot, like that's not something that's already established. Like, yeah, we know they get the Death Star plans, but we don't know how. So they have all this different stuff they could do to get to the end point. You know, Solo, it's just, okay, who's Han Solo? We know about the Kessel Run. We know he gets the Millennium Falcon. All the other stuff you can mess around with. You know, the Mandalorian's completely uncharted territory, so they can do anything they want there. But with the Skywalker movies, you really have to kind of be. It's kind of a narrow window to shoot for.
That's the hardest part, and I think that's where, like, JT, you've got to give some. You got to ease up on JJ a little bit, because you don't like how derivative episode 7 is, but like you said, you're kind of in a box where people want a George Lucas movie out of not George Lucas. So it's very hard to evoke a George Lucas feel without running the same beats, you know?
I disagree.
So, I mean, really, if you look at the entire body of work so far that Disney has put out of Star Wars, the ones that you seem to have the biggest issues with are the Skywalker movies. You're good with Rogue One. You're good with Solo. You're good with The Mandalorian. I mean, if it's live action and not in the Skywalker saga, you're good with it. And you're even good with episode 8, but for different reasons.
Well, no, I like all of them. It's episode 7 that I have a problem with, because at least all the other ones, they took a chance. I mean, the original trilogy was one set story, like good guy, bad guy. It was a linear type of a thing. You know, it was very original for its time, obviously, but when you look back, it's you know, kind of a linear type of a thing. And so were the prequels, but it was a whole different story. And it was a whole different feel. It was a whole different aesthetic. I mean, so I like that. It was different. It took chances. And then you get to episode 7, and it was just, hey, remember episode 4? And I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't do anything for me. I've already seen this movie before. Give me something new. I waited this long.
It's episode 4, but bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my point, is when they stay away from trying to attach to something familiar, that seems to be when you're better with it.
Yeah.
Like Mandalorian doesn't connect, you know, anything that doesn't connect directly.
But the reason being is because that's what Star Wars is to me. It's taking a chance. I mean, for as crappy as a lot of people think The Phantom Menace is, I love it because it was coming off the heels 16 years later, coming off the heels of the original trilogy. It was nothing like it. Mm-hmm. Except for it being like a glorified kids movie with lightsabers and action and, you know, Jedi and stuff like that. But it was completely different. So, you know, I loved it. So, you know, I'm hoping for something different with The Rise of Skywalker. And so that's why I'm so nervous about the Emperor being back, because I'm like, okay, did he need to be back? And the guy died. I mean, I really hope they explain it well, because if it, you know, because I've read a few things, and they keep mentioning in, you know, this official stuff that Exegol, supposedly where he goes or something. Or
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, there's a couple different things, but I get it's canon. But I mean, I just hope it doesn't suck. I mean, I don't want it to be dumb. I don't want it to be a new Carrie Poppins. Was like, oh, the Emperor's back. Like, what the hell was that?
Okay, let's talk about the return of Palpatine for a second. Do you think that because I was wondering this, do you think that one of the reasons for bringing him back, as much as they want to say like, well, you know, he was so integral to the rest of the movies, you kind of had to wrap it up. Do you think it's more a case of like Disney hedging their bets a little bit and realizing that Kylo Ren doesn't really fill the shoes? So with Snoke out of the picture, they didn't really have a choice. I mean, like who else would be the big threat in 9 if not bringing back Palpatine? Snoke's off the table, and do you really feel like Kylo Ren could have carried the movie?
Maybe not, but the end of 8 really seemed like it. That should have been the case, though. That, you know, him and Hux finally had that little. I mean, they haven't seen eye to eye, but they had that little fallout at the end that you thought, oh, okay, well, Kylo's going to be a total badass now in the last one, because he's officially lost his friggin' mind over here. So.
Yeah, and I guess if you do have Kylo Ren just in there doing that, it's kind of the same thing as always, like good guy fights bad guy.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it's so, yeah, I mean,
ultimately,
I get what
it's
you're
going to
saying.
come down to that regardless, but
yeah, it's, you know, like I said, I just hope they do something interesting. I hope they do something cool where you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming. Like, I mean, one of the TV spots showed something that it's like, okay, and we've seen the footage, obviously, in the trailer in the White Room where they're, you know, they both, you know, destroy what looks like the Vader armor.
Yeah.
Well,
Shrine.
now in one of the new spots, it shows a different angle and they're fighting, and it looks like they're both trying to whack each other, and it almost looks like in the TV spot, I only watched it once, but almost looks like they hit it accidentally. So so I don't know if it was like a case of, Rey trying to get it and he's trying to protect it, and then they both F up and destroy it. But, it's I don't know.
I don't think there's really anything you could draw from that. I still remember the scene from the Force Awakens trailer with it's part of the Force flashback thing with the Knights of Ren, and it was just there for a split second and had no bearing on anything. So,
yeah, and again, like I said, that's one of those things that they're not really going to show you anything. I don't know if you've seen the.
Hell, the C-3PO Black Series figure comes with Chewbacca's bowcaster and bandolier. So, does that really tell you, like, oh, well, I guess Chewbacca dies in this one? Like, no.
Yeah,
I still think something's going to happen to 3PO. I really do, especially some stuff that Anthony Daniels said, like he asked JJ to kill him off in episode 9, like he wants him to be like melted down or something or other, like he wants like a grand exit, he's like a death, torn apart. I don't know, but
is that in the book?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. There's gonna be so many cool things. Like I don't know if you saw the TV spot, but Rey's holding up like the Sith dagger.
No.
Yeah, it's that scene where they're all on the grassy hill.
See, this is the hard part: is they put out so many different TV spots that like I can't keep track of all the stuff.
They fly now. They fly. Have you seen that
right,
one?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, so there's that. There's, like I said, the thing where it looks like they're fighting and accidentally blow up the Vader armor. The Sith dagger. So, there's so many different things. And, the Palpatine line, like your final battle begins or something like that. There's not a lot of that, but at least there's a couple lines of dialogue. And it sucks because I'm so into it now as of today. And now I'm all like nervous because I don't want to leave with that feeling I had after The Force Awakens, where I love it because it's a Star Wars movie, but it doesn't blow me back in my chair, and I don't want a Carrie Poppins moment. So, but I also can't think of a good way for them to do it.
There will be a Carrie Poppins moment. I guarantee you there's going to be something in this movie that's just weird for the sake of we've never done it before, so we're going to do it now.
Well, that's like when I asked before, and I don't know if that's the case, where they have they're riding the Orbaks and it looks like they're on a Star Destroyer.
Yeah, like that, for example.
Man, if they have horses running on a spaceship, I'm going to be pissed. And I know I might eat my words. I bitched about Chirrut Imwe.
Yeah, see, this is
forever, and then it turned to be awesome. So I don't know, but
this is a good way to know if they're doing their job as filmmakers, because you've got something that you're riled up about and nervous about going into the movie. If in the course of the movie it just comes and goes, and you're like, well, that fits. Then you know that they have done their job. You have suspended disbelief and you are sucked in.
Yeah. Like I said, it's funny because with the prequels, I had no reservations about anything. When I went to see episode 1, I was like, yeah, episode 1, cool. And I left, I'm like, that was great. So I went into episode 2 just expecting, it to be kick ass again. And I watched it. I loved it. And I was like, this is great. And then episode 3, I'm like, I'm going to get to see Darth Vader. I know this is going to be some evil stuff. And it just blew me out of my seat. But now because, the precedent that was set for me with The Force Awakens, I was like, okay.
It's because you're 40 and not 25, dude.
Well, no,
no, that really is a big part of it.
I tried to think about that, but I don't think that's it, because I wasn't nitpicking The Force Awakens. It was, it just as a whole, when I got out of the movie, I was like, that's episode 4. It wasn't like certain parts, like when I came out of The Last Jedi, we all went, oh, Carrie Poppins, and the mom joke, certain things where you're kind of like, what the heck is that? Like certain little parts. For me, it was the whole thing. I'm like, but that just is like, it's too familiar. Like it's already been done.
I don't want to drag this into a too large of a conversation, but I feel like fandom in general is more nitpicky now.
Yeah,
it's just part of having this much time and ways to communicate and banter things about. You get more granular about it because you've got nothing but time on your hands, and you've got freeze frame and 4K and all these different things you could do to just rip things to shreds.
It was just my general feeling.
Like, here's the general feeling I got today, because this kind of excited me. I was looking at, I think it was like just a logo or movie poster or something, and it's got Finn and Jana on the orbacks and all this other stuff. I'm like, that's some seriously weird imagery. And it's so cool because if you look at all the movie posters, there's WTF stuff in every single one of them based on what you've seen before.
Yeah.
So I'm loving that. I'm looking at this going, that's weird. I don't know what it is, and I'm going to find out really soon.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the whole thing does look epic. I mean, all the stuff that they've shown just looks, you've got a grass planet, you've got, the ice planet of Kijimi, there's the white and black super imperial looking room where they're fighting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's that huge water storm where they're having a lightsaber battle on the Death Star. I mean, it there's a lot of varying things. The sand Pisana.
Yep.
I mean,
the other thing that's cool, you notice they're not going endgame on this. I mean, there's going to be a gigantic, insane space battle. We know that. We've seen it in the trailer already, but it's not like the cast of characters has grown so large that it's just going to be like blip of this guy, blip of that guy. Kind of. It seems like they're still honing in on the core trio of this trilogy.
Yeah.
It's still Finn, Poe, and Rey. And, they're bringing other characters, but they're really putting them at the forefront, which is where they should be.
Yeah.
It's the end of their trilogy. So it's cool that we're not just going to get like this gigantic, shallow story to end it all. They're still going to focus on the characters and really bring in the core group. So I'm hoping this one's going to have like more emotional depth. Like episode 8 was deep but weird, and 7 was kind of shallow but familiar.
Yeah.
If you can blend those two, I think you've got a really satisfying conclusion.
Yeah, I agree. Because I know that like with The Last Jedi, the interaction between Luke and Rey for me was a really cool thing. And I know a lot of people complain about it, but I loved what they did with Luke Skywalker. Because it's like, first of all, he did the most Jedi thing ever at the end of the movie. I just love that. And because he was so different before that, it made it even more grand for me. So I had that emotional connection to it, not only because it's, the biggest legacy character, but just the way that they handled it was so cool. So I agree with you that it was more emotional. It'd be awesome if they had that, the character emotional stuff. And, as I said, I'm expecting that with 3PO.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so nervous about it. And I never thought I would be. So, I completely agree with you. If they can combine both of those things.
I'm starting to pick up on some of the plot threads that they pushed, starting with Last Jedi and then in some of the lead up stuff to Rise of Skywalker. Like, remember how much Leia was harping on Poe? Like, I need leaders.
Yeah.
I need leaders. Resistance Reborn, same thing. That's all they were doing because it picks up just like a couple weeks after episode 8.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still decimated. They're still flying around on the Falcon. They don't even have any place to go. And that's all she's harping on is they're trying to round up people, is not like, where can we find 10,000 people to rally to our cause? She's like, no, we need like diplomats and generals and strategists and financiers. And she's building like the infrastructure. So I love this idea. And she keeps sending Poe out like, you go handle this. You go handle this. Like she's delegating everything, kind of like understanding that she's not going to be around forever and someone else has to step up and keep running this thing.
She probably doesn't want his ass coming around doing another mutiny.
Yeah, right. Right. That too.
Look, you stupid peckerhead. We got ideas here and you're going to F them up. Now go find a diplomat. He's got a, he's got a blue pawn blue or whatever it's called. Go find that guy.
Every time something important comes up, they just make sure Poe's not around.
Exactly. He's like a Kung Pao where they trained him wrong on purpose. We have purposely trained him wrong as a joke.
They just send him out to go get pizzas and stuff like that because they got to talk about something important for 15 minutes.
No, but I have to pay for the pizza. No one ever pays me back.
That's it. When I said that, I just pictured Poof coming into the room with the soup, coming into the empty room with all the pizzas.
Oh my God. Yeah. So anyways, continue.
So yes.
Didn't give me any crackers.
How did those not? Because it's Adult Swim, it's Cartoon Network. I was going to say, how did those not make it to Disney Plus?
Hey man, I own them. I own all 3 on my Amazon account now. So,
oh jeez,
I have them on DVD and on digital.
But yeah, I'm seeing more things in episode 8 that they were able to pull from. And they're talking about that stuff in the lead-in material. Like even the Chris Terrio interview again, he was talking about that sort of stuff and like, where do you go next with this kind of stuff? Who are the leaders of the resistance? How do you overcome this? They're getting Finn's backstory in there because they realize that he doesn't really make a lot of sense right now. Because, man, you really watch 7 to 8 back to back and realize that's only like a 3-month window in the Star Wars timeline. There's so much crap that goes on in there. They've even hinted at the fact that apparently Rey is having a bit of a sophomore slump with her force powers. Because one, they kind of realized that maybe it was a little too easy for her to get so powerful. So one, they said they're going to kind of delve into why it was so easy. And also that maybe she's not progressed as much as you would think she has since the last movie. And they're going to get into that too. So there's some cool stuff that they're bringing up that they found good ways to pull threads from episode 8, even though it didn't seem like there was much to pull on there.
That's another thing that worries me about the Emperor though. Oh, she's in a force slump and everything. It's like, okay, but the Emperor is like the most powerful bad guy ever. So how are they going to defeat him and have it not be dumb? Because and part of me is thinking like he's been gone for all these years. He was like super powerful. It took Vader and Luke together to, these two ungodly powerful Jedi to kill him. And now he's been gone rebuilding his powers in an army for all these years. And then all of a sudden Rey's just going to come in and off him. Like he's going to come back for like 10 minutes and get killed. It's like, oh, come on. Like it's like, I waited all this time for that. I waited all this time for that.
But here's something. I spend way too much time on YouTube lately. I've got to focus on work more. But anyway, that notwithstanding, I'm pretty sure that none of our 23 listeners work at where I do. So I think we're good.
Yeah, you never know.
But they pointed out something about, I was watching a video about Phantom Menace. Do you know how much screen time Darth Maul has?
Isn't it?
Under 8 minutes. That guy, it seems like he is all over that movie. He is the Phantom Menace in the movie. He's the looming presence. 8 minutes. That's it. So I don't think the Emperor has to be in this very long to have his presence felt.
No, I agree. But I mean, if he comes back, he obviously can't survive. Because if you leave him alive, then you're like, okay, what the hell?
Right.
And if you kill him, how are they going to destroy him without it being kind of like, okay, well, how do these two teenagers kick his ass? That's crap. That's my worry. Like, I almost feel like they painted themselves into a corner by bringing him into the fold again.
Well, they can't do a repeat of Last Jedi. They can't have those two team up against the big bad guy, just like, they did with Snoke and the guards.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to do something different, but I don't know.
I mean, we know that Mark Hamill is going to be in it.
Hell, it might actually be like a 3-way kind of thing where, you've got the Resistance and Rey leading that versus the Emperor versus Ren, who wants no challengers to his authority. So he's going after the Emperor because he's like, screw you. This is mine now.
Yeah.
So who knows?
I just don't know.
Because they're going to use another original trilogy person to end the Emperor. He's got the upper hand, and then out of nowhere,
Wedge Antilles.
Well, Chewbacca comes in, flying the Falcon straight into the Emperor, straight kamikaze style. Kills the Emperor, destroys the Falcon, gets rid of Chewie all at the same time. It wraps up all the loose ends.
3POs on the ship.
Yeah, exactly.
Fire sale of Disney stock. Yes.
Yeah. Lando's in the back taking a dump. Like, why are we in a dive? Chewie's like, Lando's like, man, I gotta go. Chewie's like, I got this. Don't worry, I can fly for a minute. And that's when he makes his move.
I gotta go to the refresher. We know what that looks like now, thanks to that TV show.
The refresher, right?
No, Chewie has nothing to do with it.
I'm gonna go evacuate my thorax.
That's what he called. That's right.
Yeah.
Lando's just all trashed on malt blue milk. And he drunkenly flies the Falcon accidentally into
another
the
one
Emperor
of our drunken theories. Yeah. I am super excited for it though, and I as much as I'm nervous about the Emperor coming back, it is going to be cool to see him. So I mean, who doesn't love seeing the Emperor? I mean, come on. So that's going to be interesting. The visuals of this so far just look absolutely incredible. And everybody has said that like it's some of the biggest movie sets they've ever seen, and that it's epic. And so I'm super pumped. And I and honestly, I'm invested in the character of Rey.
Really?
I really, really like that character, so I'm very interested to see what they do. And
I will say, personal level, I have done probably the best job since episode 7 in this movie of avoiding every friggin' thing. Like the fact that the movie comes out in 2 weeks and I'm just like, dude, I haven't even seen all the TV spots, much less paid attention to anything online. So
Right.
I'm like, I have not avoided any other Star Wars release the way I have this one. Like this one has really just snuck up on me, I think. And I don't care right now. I'm just like, I made it this far.
Yeah.
What's 2 more weeks? So like, I'm not worried about anything. I'm just kind of stoked that I've made it this far without having anything spoiled or remotely even close to spoiled for me yet. So.
yeah. I've avoided all articles just in case. But like you, AJ, if it's released officially, I don't mind. So like the TV spots I've watched and things like
it's
that.
not even that
I
I've
consider that part of the experience. You're kind of supposed to see that stuff to get you hyped.
Like I can't even
it worked
say,
on me, obviously.
I can't even say I've avoided it. It's just there's been so much other crap in life that's just like I haven't seen any of it. So
He doesn't have 30 seconds to watch a TV spot.
I don't watch TV anymore. Everything's
it's
friggin'
online.
Everything's friggin' streaming.
It's funny the way they shift everything. We were talking about this with our release schedule. You notice that the Mandalorian episode 7 of 8. So the what do they say? The penultimate, isn't that the way they say? Like the one before the last. But whatever. Episode 7 of an 8 episode season is coming out on Wednesday of that week instead of the normal Friday time slot because I'm guessing Rise of Skywalker debuts that day. So.
Oh yeah, because
Everything in the Star Wars calendar is moving for Rise of Skywalker. It's weird.
I can't believe they would do that. I mean, it's streaming television. I mean, we're Star Wars nerds, for God's sakes. Who cares if we're going to see the movie on Thursday? We're still going to watch The Mandalorian on Friday.
Right?
Yeah, right.
What are you thinking? How many people do you think are going to go see the movie at like 8 o'clock on like Thursday night?
People are
Get
going to be
home,
sitting
grab something
at
to eat, and then it hits midnight. It's because it comes out at 3 a.m. because stupid California. That's right. Never
still.
mind.
Oh, I was going to say there's going to be people sitting there at the theater waiting for their movie time watching The Mandalorian on their phones. But then I remembered nobody hangs out at the theaters anymore because you can get your
Pre-assigned seat.
Your pre-assigned seat and show up 2 minutes before showtime. So,
Man, you know what? That is kind of a bummer. I was thinking, AJ and I were talking about this the other day, Steven. It's like, for me and AJ, like it's crazy to think that we've seen all of these movies. At least I've seen all 9 in the theater. AJ's seen, at original release. I mean,
right.
Well, okay. I didn't see the original release of episode 4, but anyway, like we've watched the end of the original trilogy together when he was 4 and I was 7. We then watched the end of the prequel trilogy in 2005 when I was 29 and he was 26. And now we're going to see the end of this trilogy too. I mean, it's funny because they always talk about how, it's a 42-year saga, whatever. And I'm like, holy crap, AJ and I are
our lives are defined by that 42
I know.
years.
I mean, it's crazy. And it's funny you mentioned that because, the whole like people in the theater thing, because the last crazy experience that I had in a theater with Star Wars was episode 3. Because that was before all this garbage of, people not being able to bring things in because of theater shootings and stuff. Like everybody was cosplaying and there were lightsabers and, when the main theme hit, the place went nuts and then people cheered at the cool parts and all this, that, and the other. And I'll never forget going to see episode 7 and being bummed out because people weren't acting like that. They're just sitting on their hands. I was like, man, that's no fun. So I'm really hoping that this movie has some of those moments because I know that like in Solo, I was like, yeah, like I was kind of under my breath, like getting into it and I was antsy in my seat for all sorts of things. And I heard some cheering a little bit.
It's because of that McDonald's you ate that day.
Probably was. But I really missed that. Like seeing the movie for the first time, like on opening night and everybody going bonkers for it. Like that's part of the experience. I just can't believe that that's gone.
Yeah, that really does not exist anymore.
Yeah, it's so weird to me.
Like, I don't know. I think it depends on the vibe of the movie. Like, I went to see Endgame and there was plenty of cheering in that. There was plenty of cheering for not so much Last Jedi. But like you said, for Solo, yeah. Actually, I think for Last Jedi, it was kind of mind blowing. I don't think it's a bad thing if people aren't being rowdy during it. Maybe they're just so engrossed in it they're getting caught up. Like when Yoda hit the screen, that would be a cheer worthy moment, but you're like stunned into silence.
Yeah,
it's not a bad silence. It's like oh my god, I don't want to miss a thing with this. I'm going to shut the hell up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so, but I had never experienced that, and there were so many other cool moments in Star Wars that people just loved and went nuts for, and I kind of missed that visceral reaction, and now people have everyone's offended by everything, so God forbid you holler out "Yay!" in a movie theater for a split second because you're excited. So
I think we'll get that when Lando shows up.
I'm gonna buy 2 boxes of Milk Duds, and I'm using them as projectiles. Because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheer when I feel like it, and if someone turns around and gives me a dirty look or says something, I'm going to stand up and peg them with a Milk Dud.
I can totally see you doing that too.
Hey, you know what? Shut up. It's my movie too. And I didn't ruin it for you, you jerk. So if I'm just excited, let me be excited, okay?
Yeah, there's always like right when the theme starts, there's like a rogue from like one person way in the back because everybody's like afraid to do that stuff anymore. Like you said, you sit in your seat and you do it under your breath because you don't want to be that guy, quote unquote. Yeah. It's just like you're not allowed to do it unless you're at Celebration or something anymore. Otherwise, it's like frowned upon to enjoy your friggin' time at a movie theater.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not, obviously, I don't condone throwing things at people in the movie theater unless they're actually those people that talk throughout the whole damn thing and have their phone on. Then throw shoes and knives and bricks and all sorts of things. But
I've decided I think some people are actually genetically incapable of whispering. Like, this is me whispering right now. Just because your voice got raspier doesn't mean it got quieter.
Yeah, this is a raspy voice. It's not a whisper. Yeah, so I don't know, man. We'll close up shop here, but I can't believe it's already here. And again, it's also a milestone for the show because our first show we ever did was our reaction to The Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy to think that we've been doing this for that long, which is pretty cool.
Well, spoiler, that's our next episode.
Yes. So after we release this one this coming Sunday, which if you're listening to it the day it comes out, that means today, we're going to do, have we decided, we're redoing Saturday afternoon, right?
Yeah, I think so. But we're going with our regular release schedule. We're just going to record it a lot closer to when it comes out.
Yeah. So our next episode will be our reaction to The Rise of Skywalker. So it'll be out that Sunday on the 22nd. But, as we always say, just so you know, there's going to be a crap ton of spoilers. We are holding nothing back.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is our last regular episode until we have actually seen a new Star Wars movie. And that doesn't suck at all.
Nope. I'm ready to hop into the news cycle for the next 3 months, picking apart this movie, this trilogy, the entire saga. Then we got some Mandalorian wrap up to do.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have gotten through Fallen Order by that point. We'll talk about that some more.
Yep. And then all the speculation starts about, the next movie.
Oh, yeah.
So, I wonder when they'll give information about that. It's 2022. You'd think probably Celebration next year.
Well, they said that they were going to say something about it in January, right?
Oh, yeah, they were going to talk about the new film schedule. That's right. See, I've been so focused on The Mandalorian and Fallen Order and Rise of Skywalker, I totally forgot that.
Yeah.
So,
and there's still that cartoon that's wrapping up too. If anyone cares about Resistance, I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
I think they only have like one episode from this season on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that pisses me off. You have to have the Disney XD app or something to get the other ones.
I do not understand that at all. Like, you have all of Rebels on there. It's your cartoon. People are paying for this app. Why are you not putting it on there? That's so dumb. I pulled it up. I'm like, maybe I should try watching this again. Let me see what they got from season 2. And it's one episode, and it pissed me off. I'm like, fine, I'm not going to watch your dumb show. So on that note, guys, we will close up shop. Thanks again for listening to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. We are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. You can customize your own Nerf Herder Council swag. Why are you giving me the finger in the middle of my outro?
Because I want to let people know, based on your next plug, that there is a sale going on right now on that swag, you can save 35% through I'm not sure when, so get on there quickly. It might even be gone by the time this hits the airwaves. I'm not sure, but I just bought a t-shirt for $6 off, so yay.
Wow. I got to get a hoodie. So anyways, as AJ was saying, there's a 35% sale. If you go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com, you can customize your own personal swag, t-shirts, hoodies, all kinds of cool stuff. How many designs do we have now? Is it 4?
Yeah, 4 designs and then, some color variations thereof.
Yep. So it's very cool stuff. So check it out. You can find us at Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, CastBox, Spotify. Pretty much anywhere you find podcasts, look us up and we're there. All of our episodes are available on YouTube if you want to listen to us there. The website is nerfherdercouncil.com. You can find us on Facebook. You can email us, nerfherdercouncil@gmail.com. And you can hit us up on Twitter. We are at NHC Podcast. So until next time, when we have finally seen The Rise of Skywalker, and hopefully it is awesome, I am your host, JT, at Dog Pound Jedi. He's AJ.
At Drake Adams, 579.
He's Steve.
At JSteve1005.
And we will catch you next time.
Bolts is never gonna get us past that blockade.
This bucket's got a few surprises left in her. Plus, me and Chewie are on it. Ain't that right, Chewie?
Hell yeah, you my nerf herder.
You my nerf herder.